And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here as we get ready to go racing at Talladega Superspeedway. This is race number 8 since they had an off week last week of the NNSCRA Almond Joy Series, and we are at Talladega Superspeedway. This should be a very interesting race in the fact that usually when we go to restrictor plate track, the restrictor plate tracks always seem to cater to the underdog or the driver that's struggling in the point stands or something. It also plays a huge factor into somebody possibly not being that much of a contender in recent weeks. They come up to the front, they win a race, they may have themselves a spot in the Almond Joy Series chase for the championship. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here today, as it will be 19 laps of racing. Seems like a dash race, but it really isn't. It actually takes them quite a bit of time to complete those 19 laps. And of course, we have the possibility of the dreaded big one maybe taking place in the middle of those 19 laps. But we're getting ready for the run of the Aaron's 312, and I'll tell you what, you could throw a blanket over the top 10 in points coming into this race, because it is James Qualls, the points leader. Second is Jonathan Rains. He's only 1 point back. Third is Benny Watson. He dropped from the points lead 2 weeks ago, but he's only 4 points out of the lead. Ryan George is fourth, 6 points out, and Nick Gunther is fifth, 9 points out. And then the rest of the top 10 is Eric Hayden, Mitchell Carter, Carmichael Jazin, Paul Minnick, and Jesse Turner has now cracked the top 10, only 14 points back. So it's going to be a point shaker here today at Talladega. Let's get the command to fire up the engines for the Aaron's 312 at Dega.
Drivers, start your engine! Run!
There's the command to fire them up, and as you see on the pole position, surprise, surprise, it is actually our Daytona race winner and the winner of the first 2 races of the season, Matthew Dallio. So that 78 team, they've actually been on a bit of a skid as of late, but it looks like they finally have come to a racetrack they like, and they're going to be starting on the pole alongside of Angel Navarro. You got Nick Johnson and our Infineon race winner Joseph Romero making up row number 2, and then Eric Hayden in the 18, who, as I mentioned, comes in 6th in the point standings. Looked like everybody was good to go for the start of this race. I'm just going to look back towards the tail end real quick. There you've got Grayson Acavito and Paul Minnick, and it looks like, yes, indeed, we have everybody here, so we are good to go. We will not have anybody, at least at this point, having any mechanical problems before we get to the green flag. So Matthew Dallio, who at this point is a shoo-in to get into this season's chase for the championship, provided he remains in the top 30 in the point standings, but with there only being 40 cars in the series, the likelihood of him falling out of the top 30 are slim to none. And again, stranger things have happened, but he's just out to win races now. He's got 2 wins, first 2 races of the season, Daytona, Rockingham, UK, so he can, afford to maybe make a couple more aggressive moves as far as this race is concerned and try and maybe pick up win number 3. Got other drivers like former winners this season, Joseph Romero and Zachariah Hall, Benny Watson. They've, of course, like to get up here, maybe win their second race of the season, and join Matthew Dallio as a potential confirmed driver in the chase for the championship. But here we go. The Aaron's 312 at Talladega is green. And already they're going to force the issue 3 wide. That's Eric Hayden down on the bottom along with Jordan Lopez, as Matthew Dallio going to scamper away quickly with the race lead. And look at him back there, almost 4 wide back there around the Tyler Markle area. The 48 car almost looked like he was put in a 4 wide situation. And they're 4 wide further back, almost rubbing doors. That, I think, was Seth Cole and Julio Cesar. As the battle for the lead is on, it's going to be Eric Hayden and Jordan Lopez ganging up on Matthew Dallio on the inside line, and they'll move to first and second. They're still 4 wide back there, and that is, I believe, still Seth Cole and Julio Cesar in that middle line, and they bounced off each other a couple times in the back straightaway. It looks like they just bounced off each other a couple times here on the front straightaway too, but fortunately they're keeping it together, and we're still green. Now Matthew Dallio has found a drafting partner in the form of Cody Smart in the 22. Cody Smart has Kev Shearer behind him in the 14. DJ Curtis there along with Carmichael Jazin. Both those drivers, Curtis and Jazin, they'll be racing in the Hershey's Cup Series race, so some good experience for them here, as DJ Curtis will be making his Hershey's Cup Series debut. I believe Carmichael Jazin is making her second start in the Hershey's Cup Series this season. And right now, Jordan Lopez out in front, but for how long? Here comes Cody Smart. Big run there through the tri-oval. Might try and make a move here into turn number 1, but there's really no drafting help. It's about another 2 car lengths back to third place before you find Kev Shearer, Eric Hayden, and Matthew Dalio. But Cody Smart right up to the back bumper of Jordan Lopez. Will Smart make a move here on the back straightaway? Not yet. Still remains in the tire tracks of the 51. As right now, the top 5 have all broken away single file from Lopez back to Matthew Dalio, and then it's utter chaos from 6th place on back. There you got DJ Curtis, Carmika Jazin, Elijah Gordon, Jay Jefferson, Chris Dollerton. Caitlin Sang's in that group there as well. Jeffrey Finguy, and look at this. Grayson Acavito started the race from the 39th rather, and is already up there, and I believe actually has just cracked into the top 10. Well, not quite, almost. Around the 11th position was where he crossed last time by, so just shows you how quickly you can get from the rear of the field up to the front at a restrictor plate track. And RCR right now, they got a couple of drivers up here. Elijah Gordon getting around on the outside line. Jay Jefferson looking to do the same. Looks like the outside line's got some good momentum here at Talladega. DJ Curtis now jumping up there, trying to get around Caitlin Sang. That would be, I think, for the 9th position. Meanwhile, up front, still single file, the top 5. And now we got a battle going on here. This is for the 3rd position. Kev Shearer trying to get the inside of Eric Hayden, but no such luck. And now, looks like drivers are starting to spread out a little bit here. Now as drivers start getting single file, they're starting to break away from other drivers who are battling side by side, as now Cody Smart peeks to the inside of Jordan Lopez. Not sure that was such a great idea, because look here. Here come a couple of Toyotas, and Eric Hayden and Kev Shearer. They're getting a big run, and they may end up having something to say about this race lead. Well, nope. Now Kev Shearer leaves Eric Hayden out to dry. Here's a drag race to the line. Is Cody Smart going to be able to get the lap from Jordan Lopez? And indeed he did. And now as the top 4 are now racing double wide, that's going to bring Matthew Dalio, Elijah Gordon, Jay Jefferson all up into this group as well. And now we're going to have about 7 cars battling for the race lead. And if they keep racing, that could bring Grayson Acavito, Caitlin Sang, and the entire pack right back up here into the mix for this race lead. Still side by side amongst the top 2, Smart and Lopez. Kev Shearer now with Matthew Dalio. They're trying to catch up. And look at this. They're going to spread 3 wide. And yeah, this is definitely going to bring the second pack right up back to this group. Wow, Kev Shearer going way down there towards the yellow line. I thought for a moment there he might actually have an issue, but apparently not. Apparently he's still good to go. And there is Grayson Acavito, and there's Jesse Turner, who just moved up into the top 10 in the point standings after 2 weeks ago at Texas. Now side by side with Davey Johnson, and you can see the gap between themselves and that first group is visibly closing up. Well, it may not close up for much longer. They've all started to get single file again. Jay Jefferson now moving up to 3rd, and oh, looks like he thought about going 3 wide through the tri-oval for the race lead. Thought better of it, tucked back in line behind Jordan Lopez, and Elijah Gordon now thinking about going 3 wide, stuck his nose down there. Oh, look at there. Jordan Lopez, we saw some good momentum on the high side, but instead decided to duck down in front of Jay Jefferson to block any possible advance by the 28. And here comes Elijah Gordon to the bottom. Is anybody going to go with him? Is he going to get freight train? Cody Smart now ducks out of line. Here comes Eric Hayden looking low. And now Cody Smart's the lone man out and stuck on the inside line, as they're all going to gang up to the outside line on the 22. Jordan Lopez now still out in front, trying to see which line's going to try and get the momentum against him, whether Jay Jefferson will try ducking low or try moving to the outside line, which we've seen get some pretty good momentum here so far in this race. Top 7 broken away, but that may not be for long because we got some more drivers formulating some groups here away from the second pack. Mike Becker has Julio Cesar in a two-car tandem, and Nick Gunther is two-car tandeming with Grayson Acevedo. Paul Minnick is now the leader of the big pack, who are all still trying to catch back up. Now Minnick's got Nick Johnson and Jonathan Rains, John Andrews here. Looked like they were thinking about going single file. Now they're back to double wide, and now they're double wide up here with Nick Gunther and Grayson Acevedo. That's just going to allow that group behind them to reel them back in. Meanwhile, up front, the top 7 have now got a strategy going, and they are all single file, but I don't know if Matt Dallio is still in the draft. He may actually lose this group, and it may just be the top 6. Yeah, they are pulling away. Oh, but now they're going to start racing again. Cody Smart steps out of line. Jay Jefferson goes with him. And, of course, we have the possibility, maybe, that these drivers can't make it on fuel. I don't know for certain what the fuel window is for these drivers. I know they're going to at least have to make a pit stop in the Hershey's Cup Series race, but not necessarily here in the Almond Joy race. Look at this, how quickly Jordan Lopez went from the lead all the way back across the line that time. And 4th, Cody Smart is now the race leader. Cody Smart out of Penske Racing, trying to win his first race of the season. As a matter of fact, you look up here in this top 6, and none of these drivers have found victory lane yet this year. Smart, Jefferson, Gordon, Shearer, Lopez, and Hayden all looking for win numero uno on the season. When they hit the stripe this time, it will be 8 laps to go. And right now, the top 6 are in a group of their own, somewhere about 2.5 seconds ahead of 8th place. So if they continue running the way they are, basically in single file, putting down these solid lap times, I'm not really certain that anybody's going to be able to catch them. Matthew Dallio has lost touch with them, so now what was a group of 7 has now become a group of 6. As Dallio starts to fall back into the clutches of the big pack, led currently by Mike Becker. And Jordan Lopez says, hey, remember me, Cody Smart? I'm the one you took the race lead from, and he's going to take it right back here out of turn 4. They are battling up here at the front, but they aren't really battling for a long time. They get back into a nice single file formation very quickly, and that's what's allowing them to keep their distance over the second group of race cars, the bigger group. But that time by, that bigger group actually reeled them in a little bit, cut their advantage down by about 3/10. See, they're actually single file back there, and they're getting a bit of help off the draft of Matthew Dallio, so we'll see if they can reel them in here. They've still got plenty of time to do it. They've just got to get themselves into a formation that produces more speed than this lead group. Curious to know if anybody out of this top 6 actually has the fastest lap, with the fact they were running single file when they were. Let's see if that's the case. No, actually, the fastest lap is a number of drivers that weren't actually up in that lead pack. The top 3, as a matter of fact, Ryan George, Mitchell Carter, and John Andrews all have the fastest lap. And as soon as I say that, Richard Johnson just jumped up to 3rd fastest. Oh, I think someone may have just hit the wall. That did not sound good. It sounded like someone may have wrecked. We're under green still, but it almost sounded like someone got the wall. We got some drivers way back here at the tail end of the field who have lost the lead pack. DJ Curtis and Chris Dalton for Micah Jazin, Angel Navarro, William Brock, Tyler Markle way back here along with Cody Hagan. I don't know how they lost the draft, but they are running way at the rear of the field now as Cody Smart back to the top of the leaderboard and got pushed there by the 2 of Elijah Gordon. 5 laps to go. 4 when we hit the line next time by. And the gap between 6th back to 7th remains around 2.3. Last 2 laps, they have not closed the gap up. They've kept it pretty much at status quo. See here, the lead pack again going single file, which is going to allow them again to grow their distance between themselves and the battle on for 7th. So right now, they're basically ensuring themselves top 6 finishes here at Talladega, regardless of whichever one of them goes to victory lane. The two best cars of the day have obviously been Cody Smart and Jordan Lopez. They've been out in front for the majority of this race, but the question is, will it be one of those two that takes the checkered flag? Could Elijah Gordon or Jay Jefferson, Kev Shearer, Eric Hayden, could they be holding something back? 1 Ford, 2 Chevys, 3 Toyotas right now in the hunt. As last time by, they grew their advantage back to 7th place by another 10th. Side by side between the two strongest cars so far today out in front. Jordan Lopez, Cody Smart. Lopez trying to clear Cody Smart through the tri-oval. Not quite clear yet. Might be clear now. Yes, I think he is. And yep, he feels he is too. Moves up in front of Cody Smart. And that time by, that second group cut the advantage down by another 10th. But it's still about 2.3 seconds back to Ryan George, Julio Cesar, Richard Johnson, and Seth Cole. So what was looking like they had time before, now they're really running out of time to be able to reel in these drivers. Oh man, and right there, Kev Shearer, Elijah Gordon, Eric Hayden decided to get racy. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! I didn't think they'd have to pit, but apparently they're going to have to. Cody Smart leads them in. He's the first of the leaders to pit. Got to make sure everybody gets onto pit road okay. Sometimes this can be a treacherous pit road, and as I mentioned that, there goes Connor Breton around. And did that bring out a yellow flag is the question. Yes, it did. It did bring out a caution. Connor Breton got spun coming to pit road, and oh boy, this could really shuffle the field up now. Not only could it shuffle the field up, but this could also potentially mean that maybe a couple of the drivers who stayed out, as there was some more contact there on pit road. I think Nick Johnson hit somebody. But this could mean that maybe, just maybe, Jordan Lopez, Julio Cesar, a couple of drivers who stayed out can make it around and clutch enough fuel to get to the checkered flag. I think 3 drivers stayed out. Maybe 4. Lopez, Richard Johnson can't make it. He's coming to pit road. So he's giving up what could potentially have been a 3rd place finish for him to come to pit lane. I believe that there were, DJ Curtis, yep, he was the other driver I thought stayed out. He was in 4th crossing the line, but he's going to come to pit road as well. So 2 drivers are risking it. Jordan Lopez to win, Julio Cesar to finish 2nd as the white flag is displayed this time. The question being, can Lopez make it around on fuel one more time? If not, he would give up the race lead to Julio Cesar. If Cesar cannot make it, he gives up the race lead, I believe, to Jay Jefferson, who is now in the 3rd position. I'm not even sure that 51 is even under power right now. Look out. Something going on there at the rear. I don't know what that was all about with Matt Dallio. Unless Dallio crossed the line ahead of... Yeah, I guess he crossed the line ahead of Mitchell Carter and was getting his position. But boy, who would have thought? Closing stages of this race, green flag pit stops. And a wreck coming to pit road. Connor Breton getting turned around. Don't even know who it was that turned him. Brings out the caution flag. And Jordan Lopez going to try and make it here into the tri-oval under power to try and pick up his first win of the season. He is not coming to pit road. He's going to try and run that thing till it's dry, try and coast it down to the start-finish line. And maybe, quite honestly, one of the 2 strongest cars of the day is going to come out on top here today at Talladega Superspeedway. And we'll have to see if this maybe puts him in a spot to maybe be in the chase for the championship. But regardless, the Aaron's 312 at Talladega Superspeedway will go to the 51 of Jordan Lopez. It looks like someone ran out of fuel coming to the line. I think that was the 1 of Colin Denton. And he crossed the line in the 17th position. So 2 drivers were able to stretch the fuel For the entire race, even though the final 2 laps were completed under caution, Jordan Lopez with the victory. Julio Cesar will get second. Standings, I believe, are official now. Everybody else came to pit road under that green flag or yellow flag session. Jay Jefferson, as a result, will get third. Fourth place will be Nick Gunther. Kev Shearer gets fifth. Sixth place for Ryan George. Seventh will be Matthew Daly of the pole sitter. Mitchell Carter gets eighth. Ninth, Seth Cole and Cody Smart, who was out in front for a good portion of this race along with Jordan Lopez. He'll have to settle for 10th place. Eric Hayden fell back to 11th. 12th for John Anders. 13th, Mike Becker. Richard Johnson had to come to pit road in the final stages of this race to top off the fuel tank, and he'll finish in 14th. He could have finished in 3rd if he was able to make it. Grace Nacovito gets 15th. James Qualls, Colin Denton, Elijah Gordon all the way back to 18th place after he was up in the top 5 when they came to pit road. Davey Johnson and Paul Minnick, that will complete your top 20s. We look on down, you had DJ Curtis. He was in 4th. If he'd made it, he'd have been able to have a top 5, but he has to settle for 25th. And you look on down, we did have a few drivers actually finish off the lead lap who got trapped a lap down when that caution came out, including Carmika Jazin, Chris Dollerton, Angel Navarro, William Brock, Tyler Markle, and Cody Hagan. Connor Breton right there, you see, finished 33rd after he was the one that got spun coming to pit road and brought out the caution. And Nick Johnson, I believe, made contact with somebody on pit road, had to have an extended stay in his pit stall as they repaired his 42. Take a look as far as the point standings are concerned, too, and James Qualls, where did he finish this race? Finished it in the 16th position. Second in points, Jonathan Rains finished way down the leaderboard, down in the 29th spot. And Benny Watson, we never talked about him really all day, finished in 23rd, so not really anybody in the top 3 in points having a really solid day today. The best finisher inside the top 10 in the point standings would have been Nick Gunther, who came in 5th in points. He finished 4th here today. Ryan George came in 4th in points. He finished the day out in 6th. So those will be the 2 that'll jump up in the point standings at least quite a bit from this one. The other one would probably be Mitchell Carter, finishing 8th, who came into this race 7th in the point standings. But we'll have to see what the point standings look like. I said that Talladega would more than likely be a point shaker. It's like it's definitely living up to that reputation. So that is going to do it here for the Aaron's 312 at Talladega Superspeedway. Hope that you enjoyed today's race. Jordan Lopez becomes yet another first-time winner here in the Almond Joy Series, and we'll have to see if that puts him in a position to maybe battle later on this season for the Almond Joy Series chase for the championship. But thank you all so much for tuning in. You're looking right now at your point standings heading into next week, and until then, I'm Seth Cole signing off. Up next, it's the Hershey's Cup Series race here from Talladega. Should be a very interesting one there, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.